Tips to win or tips to impress in this game here tonight, and it'll be last chance. This will be the last chance before the last game, and we'll see a lot of the regulars. Desperation to impress is key, and know your role, right? Stay within yourself, Josh. Stay within yourself. So what's the fine line of impressing or knowing your role and playing your game? And that'll be important for these guys here tonight.
Look at the goaltenders tonight. We mentioned Alex Nedeljkovic gets the nod for the Penguins. Last 2 seasons in the Red Wings organization, but Army, he's looked pretty solid here in the preseason so far, opposed by James Reimer tonight.
Yeah, my old teammate James Reimer, but yes, you're right. Nedeljkovic has looked pretty steady, pretty solid, and I think that's, you know, what you're looking for him coming out of the gates here in a Penguins uniform.
Penguins will start up front with Radim Zohorna centering Rem Pitlick and Alex Nylander. Zohorna and JT Compher on the opening faceoff. We got a faceoff on 5th Avenue, and preseason action underway here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Ty Smith back in his own zone, trying to get it free to Zohorna. Had a goal and an assist in that Pens loss in Detroit last week, as the Wings will track it back down in their own end. Simon Edvinsson, one of many top 10 picks in the Detroit arsenal. Passes left side for Compher as it bounces out to the neutral zone. Here are the Toyota Grand Highlander lines on the top of your screen, as the Red Wings carry back in their own end. Jeff Petrie, remember him, a year in Pittsburgh last year. Sent to Montreal originally in that Erik Karlsson trade in the offseason, then flipped to Detroit.
He's home.
He is home. More on that in a bit, as Ryan Shea controls in his own end. Hands it off to Ty Smith. He dips away from Dylan Larkin.
And there's that little play, those little plays that Ryan Shea can make in tight areas, and even harder. You know, we talked to him about playing on the offside, right? And kind of the positions his body has to get into, but you can just see how savvy he is under pressure.
Reimer settles it behind the net for Jake Wallman. Over to Mo Seider. A couple years removed from a Calder Trophy as the NHL's Rookie of the Year. Big German defenseman comes up ice, and it's dumped down into Pittsburgh territory. Nedeljkovic will settle it for Chad Ruedel, sporting the A tonight. Assistant captain designated by Mike Sullivan. Puck back down in the Penguins zone. That's shy of center red on the dump from the Red Wings, so icing. Mike Sullivan leading the Penguins back into preseason action. His 9th season as Penguins coach. We mentioned it, Army, saying this is as competitive a camp as he can remember. He's had his work cut out for him.
Yeah, he has, and here tonight you look at this entire lineup, he'll be pushing guys and, you know, enabling them to put their best foot forward and fight for the spots in this lineup that he says are available. He mentioned again tonight, there's spots to be had.
Kind of laughed when the question was asked about 2 or 3 spots. He said, I don't have a number in mind. Here's Chad Ruedel, wristing one that changed direction, bounces back behind the net. Valtteri Pustin into it there, and we got a high stick on the puck to stop play and bring the face-off out to the neutral zone.
Yeah, Poulin just cutting across with that high tip deflection, and it'd be so dangerous and hard for goaltenders to pick up. We see Jansen Harkins as well. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Sit down Jake Wallman. He's a speedy guy, tenacious. Josh, he'll be on pucks and use his legs to get involved. It's really interesting to see how he looks out here tonight.
Penguins come right back in on the forecheck. Red Wings in their own zone. Emil Viro playing it up the near sidewall. Pens intercept, good work there. Viro gets it back though for Detroit. Spins right into a Puustinen check. Trying to get it away from the Penguin pressure. Another turnover created by Pittsburgh. Here's Poulin. Getting it to Puustinen. Shrugs off a Viro hit. Lost the puck though, and Cross Hannes will play it out to the neutral zone for Austin Czarnik. The veteran forward dumps it down into the Penguins' end. Harkins plays it far side, losing it there with Xavier Ouellet. Picked up by Cross Hannes to the near side for Edvinsson. Slows the puck, dumps it deeper. Ouellet lets it go. Picked up on the far wall by Dominic Shine. He's knocked down. Puustinen's got it there, up the wall, kept in, and then knocked out off the stick of Jeff Petrie. Red Wings gather. Nolan Stevens with the puck, son of Vegas Golden Knights assistant coach John Stevens, Stanley Cup champ last year. 3 times now for John Stevens, a couple times with Jeff Carter in the LA Kings. As the Wings come back up ice, here comes Nolan Stevens over the line. Lost it, picked up by Shine. Turns it over to Ty Smith, dumps it out to the neutral zone. Edvinsson after it there for Detroit. Jeff Petrie back in his own end. 3 minutes gone in a scoreless first period. Pens and the Wings, the second of 2 here on this preseason slate. As Ty Smith will pick it back up in his own end. Bouncing puck towards the Pens line. Ren Pitlick gathers it there. And it's knocked back into the Penguin zone. Smith for Pitlick. Cross ice for Ryan Shea. Launches it ahead for Zohorna. Taps it back for Smith. Steps around Sprong. And goes right to Alex Nylander over the line right side. Snapper wide. Getting a stick on that was Comfer. Here's Zohorna, losing it to Comfer, ahead for Sprong. 2-on-2 out of his own end with Fabry. Joining them is Wallman. He takes the pass, comes in, snaps it off the glove of Nedeljkovic, and he will freeze it with pressure around.
Well, decent start here, I think, for the Penguins, and getting a look at everyone. And look at this play by Smith, and I love this. Just the ability to see the ice, not just ram it. I call that the bee's nest up the wall where all the bodies are. Everyone's expecting the puck to go there. Although tripped up, Ty Smith makes a great cross-ice pass to open ice and allows Nylander to enter, getting shot.
Alex Nedeljkovic entering tonight. It stopped 46 of the 50 shots he's seen this preseason. 1 for 1 in this game as the Pens bat it down to the Detroit zone. And they rule that it does not have enough steam for icing. Waved off at the last second. Colin White digging it out for the Pens. Off the stick of Austin Wagner and rolls back deeper into the Detroit end. Emil Viro picks it up there. Lifts it left side for Alex DeBrincat, one of the new acquisitions for Steve Yzerman and this Detroit Red Wing team. The Michigan native from Farmington Hills. Spent last season with the Ottawa Senators, but we know him in this portion of Pennsylvania. 300-plus seasons with the Erie Otters before a pretty successful start to his NHL career.
Yeah, he's a flick of the wrist with him at times, isn't it?
Special.
Yeah, he can really shoot the puck, and obviously a guy that's, you know, in his short time in the NHL, I feel like he's been around for a while already, obviously. Time in Chicago, and a guy that can really produce, and we're getting a penalty here.
Hooking is the call down at ice level, and Penguins going to be shorthanded early in this one.
Just a strong play coming off the wall.
Pittsburgh, number 2, 2-minute minor penalty for hooking.
Strong play off the wall here, and Edvinsson just cuts in front. Pretty nifty skills with a skate to stick, and gets a little bit of body position on Ruhwedel, and I don't know if that's as much of him almost falling down a little bit, and Chad just leaning on him. But nonetheless, you'll get a look at a Penguins penalty kill. Some guys, obviously, Josh, this is big, right? Can you kill penalties?
Well, Jona Koppinen taking this draw shorthanded for the Penguins. Spoke with him this morning. He said this is where he feels like he can make a roster spot created for himself with his penalty killing, his puck pursuit. Loses the face-off there, though, as a shot
his size.
Strong is blocked. Yeah, he's massive.
6'5", he's right there with Zohorna. So they got two big, lanky guys up top on this kill for the Penguins to pester and bug you. There, just like that.
Great stick by Zohorna. Comes to Sprong left side. We know he can fire the puck. As the biscuit is lifted back out to the neutral zone, and Jeff Petrie will track it down there. 35-year-old had 2 power play goals for the Penguins last season. Finds Sprong over the line. He'll survey on the half wall. Up top to Petrie, right side Wallman. Thought shot, then otherwise. Back to Petrie, over to Wallman. His pass knocked down. Another active stick there by Zohorna, and he steals the puck from Sprong. Here he comes short-handed. Redeems Zohorna, carries it, killing some time off the clock deeper into the Detroit zone.
Zohorna's like one of those cranes you see working on those skyscrapers when he's reaching at pucks on the penalty kill. Just so lanky as he disturbed a couple seam passes just with his reach.
Minute gone on the Chad Ruhwedel minor as Lucas Raymond brings it back into his own end for Detroit. He'll hand it off to Seider. Passing for Dylan Larkin, the captain of the Wings, over the line for Robbie Fabry. Carries deeper into the pen zone, up top for Seider. Cross ice Raymond, across for DeBrincat, wrists it, moving right to left, and stopping it is Nedeljkovic.
Good job by Nedeljkovic to stay with that play, right? It gets worked up the wall, cross ice, and where we saw Zohorna pick off a couple seam passes like that to DeBrincat, as we were talking about him, who can rip the puck. Nedeljkovic just slides over, under control, no rebound, squeezes it. They call that tracking the puck. Nedeljkovic did a perfect job there.
DeBrincat again, back to work to Seider, over to DeBrincat, centering pass, comes back to him, and he rips it up over the net. Stays in play. Raymond had his pass knocked down, but it deflects to DeBrincat at the near circle, holding, shooting, glove save, Nedeljkovic.
Oh, that was something else. A puck that almost gets out of the zone but doesn't, is able to keep in and ends up kind of in the wrong guy's hands as DeBrincat is allowed to walk right in as everyone's scrambling. Look at Friedman's face here. Has he not been a warrior through this preseason already?
And his face has been abused in the preseason.
Oh man, he had to get stitches, took a puck off the face earlier in a preseason game and was blocking tons of shot. He almost made a save with his face again, and instead Nedeljkovic able to stay with that one, make a big glove save.
Another face-off win for Detroit. Final seconds of the power play here. Larkin lost the puck. It'll roll out to center, and that'll do it. Successful penalty kill for the Pens. Wings back in their own end. Dylan Larkin coming up ice, flips it down into the Penguin zone. Xavier Ouellet collects there for Pittsburgh. Spent the first 5 seasons of his pro hockey and NHL career in the Detroit organization. As Ouellet finds Poulin, who dumps it down ice. Loose puck behind the net. Penguins dig it free. This line's been good on the forecheck early. Poulin back to Ruedel. Over to Ty Smith. Pokes it down low for Pustin and chops it for Poulin. Nice work. Curls it atop the crease and sprawling out to stop it was Reimer. He'll freeze it.
Poulin's been dangerous around the side of the net in the preseason. Dangerous here tonight. Austin Wagner saying, hey, notice me. Welcome back, 0-0, Pens and Red Wings, and we get another look here at Mark Friedman. He's been around, he's been here a while, he's always a guy you seem to notice. And man, did he dodge a dangerous play right there here tonight. He's been, in the games he's been in, Josh, we mentioned he's been all over the place in kind of dangerous plays, like putting his body in harm's way, blocking shots and pucks off the face. And I think, you know, not only a guy that's willing to do that, but get his nose dirty, chirping and being involved that way as well. So you usually know what you're getting out of him, and it's usually hard games for Mark Friedman.
Only knows how to play one way.
Yeah, he does.
Penguins back in their own end. Ryan Shea backhands through center. Puustinen catches it there, snaps it wide of Reimer. Poulin first there behind the net. Harkins to Puustinen up top for Smith. Snapshot blocked. Hit Mark Kasper as he rolls back to the top. Played there by Puustinen, lifts it near side. After that's Ty Smith. Knocked off the puck by Simon Edvinsson, who finds Hannes. And patiently gets it back for the big defenseman, Edvinsson.
You just see on that play how it developed in the offensive zone with that line who's been really good, as you mentioned, Josh. And like Sullivan mentioned this morning.
Look out, turnover there. And Nedeljkovic had to be alert. He was, stopping Nolan Stevens right atop the crease.
And Mike Sullivan mentioned this morning, and we alluded to it off the start and open of the show in the game, decision-making quicker. You could just see a play right there, almost develop, but you know, coming back the other way. Talk about a play developing as it kind of eludes everyone, ends up in front, and that's pretty dangerous for Nedeljkovic, who's able to find it, stay with it, make a save. Pens without any shots right now. Hopefully they can get
a shot there off the point from Wallman. Nedeljkovic got that one. Here's Nylander. Lost it at center. Tim Gettinger to it there. Backhands down inside the Pen zone. Pitlick pumps it behind the net for Ruedel. Gets it over to Zahorna. He's hit there by Gettinger. Two big bodies there. As he rolls back behind the Penguins' cage once more. Nylander tracks it down. He's going to carry it to safety out to the neutral zone and flip it down into Detroit territory. Pitlick snags it. Back to the point for Friedman. Snapper is blocked. Kicking the leg out. Kick save and a beauty was Nolan Stevens there. He'll dump it down ice, but on the wrong side of center end. That's icing. As we bring you our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update and some good news, because this guy is not just on the ice, but he was full contact at Penguins practice yesterday. This guy, of course, being Jake Gensel.
Yeah, Jake looked pretty good. He's involved in rushes and working on things and looked the same, which is pretty great news for Penguins fans and the Penguins. Who knows, of course, on the timeline. how he feels in getting back and having that sniper and star player in the lineup.
Not a moment too soon whenever he's ready. You know how Jake Gensel is. He's traditionally been a really quick healer too, so we'll see as it pertains to the first couple weeks of the season. Of course, Penguins starting things off on October 10th as Nedeljkovic makes another stop there on Sprong. He's been busy, Alex Nedeljkovic.
He's been good.
Really good. 6 shots, 6 saves for the Penguin netminder. Kapanen dumps it down inside the Detroit zone. James Reimer will play it there. Backhands up the far wall for Sprong. Had a career-high 21 goals last year with the Seattle Kraken. As it's Fabry over the line, looking for Sprong. He had him, but the pass eluded the sniper for Detroit. And the Pens come back the other way as Avery Hayes backhands it down into the Detroit end.
Yeah, Daniel Sprong, of course, of Penguins past, really exploded last year with Seattle, as you mentioned, and became more than just a shooter. We know he's got the shot, right? So I think the Red Wings hoping they get that kind of player in their lineup here now that's developed and can be dangerous.
Here's Colin White charging in for the Penguins. Back to the point. Shea steps in, makes a move, still holding, shooting. That's blocked by Edmondson. Back to the point for Smith. Right side to Colin White. Flings it back down low, rotates to Vinny Hinostroza on the far side. Up top for Shea. Back down behind the cage for Wagner. Knocked off the puck. Red Wings get it back as Raymond tries to clear. He connects to Larkin, smacks it down to the Penguin zone. Nedeljkovic is going to play this and steer it away from the pressure of DeBrincat over to Shea. Fires forward, nice pass, nearly caught Harkins in stride. It's going to flutter off his stick in on Reimer, and he will freeze it. Still looking for our first goal here in Pittsburgh. Jansen Harkins, maybe he has it. We'll stay right here at PPG Paints Arena. Harkins with a chance there. Army as it fluttered off his stick right in on Reimer, but Penguins trying to find a way to not just get a goal, but get a shot on goal right now. It's been elusive in the first half of this first period.
Yeah, 9:05 on the clock, as you see, and you can see right there, 0 shots as well on your screen. Great job by Ryan Shea off that break pass to try to spring Harkins. He kind of just waited, found him, and just unable to corral it. Picture how hard weird that is, right, in hockey? Just, we got you on waivers. Come on in. You're playing with these guys. Get to know them. Hey, how's it going? And what are you guys doing out here? How do we play? What's the system? What's going on? So Jansen Harkins, newest Penguin, picked up on the waivers a couple days ago, is like drinking out of a fire hose, trying to learn everything on the fly.
He's out there now with Valtteri Puustinen and Sam Poulin as Poulin and Harkins peel off for a change. Puck down inside Detroit territory where Mo Sider will carry it up ice. Finds Jake Wallman. His pass misfires to Marco Kasper. That's icing. Ryan Shea, one of those guys we talked about in the pregame, Army, and he's been active so far in this game.
And I talked to him this morning after morning skate about playing his off wing, how comfortable he is. And he mentioned, you know, there's a little few things how to position your body defensively, but the one thing he mentioned that he likes is the offensive zone, as we saw just there, as he's able to walk in on his forehand side and try to generate opportunities. So that was a great look at things that you can do when you're in a better offensive position in the offensive zone for playing the offside.
Here's Nylander twisting and turning with the puck. Back to Ouellette. He'll rip it. That's blocked. Bounces right atop the crease. Curled wide by Zahorna, who's got that long reach in tight quarters. Rolls to the far side. Nylander pressured by Vero. Zahorna tracks it down. Up top for Friedman. To Nylander. Snapshot blocker saved by Reimer. Rolls to the far side. Nylander trying to get it free. He does get it back to Ouellette. He'll slap it, but right into the mitt of James Reimer, who's seen some pucks all of a sudden. And he's had the answer. Still scoreless here in the first period. Pens in the Wings on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Welcome back to PPG Paints Arena. We are tied here in Pittsburgh right now against Detroit, and what an opportunity for forward Jansen Harkins here tonight. He was just claimed off waivers from Winnipeg. I talked to him earlier. He said it wasn't even 3 hours until he got on a plane and he was headed here to Pittsburgh. He said he wasn't able to bring his dog and his fiance. However, a big opportunity for him that he's so excited about, and that while he doesn't quite yet know where the coaching staff sees him fitting into this lineup, that tonight it's all about playing his game, because clearly the game he plays is the reason he's here right now, Josh.
Haley, thanks so much. Yeah, you mentioned it, Army, the craziness of getting acclimated to a new team, but also, hey, honey, I'm going to go leave the country. I'm going to go play hockey in Pittsburgh. But we'll still get married. Don't worry, it's happening.
Yeah, take care of the dog. Thank goodness for FaceTime.
Oh, man, what do we do without it? Here's Dominic Shine back in for the wing. Snapshot, good save there by Alex Nedeljkovic. Pens clear to center. Defenseman Antti Tuomisto up ahead for Shine. Deflects that down inside Penguins ice one more time. Gettinger finds Stevens in front. A wrist shot there from Edvinsson goes wide. He was all alone atop the crease. More pressure from the wings. Stevens knocked off the puck. Swinging at it is Hayes. Knocked away from him by Edvinsson. Back down low it goes. Andreas Janssen after it there. Backhands behind the net for Shea. He finds Ty Smith. Fires ahead. Good pass for Hayes. He's over the line. Right side. Shoots it. And a save made by Reimer. Squeezes the pads together. Well, every game, every night, get a full hour of expanded pregame coverage on Penguins Face Off Live, presented by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Get the latest news and all-star analysis from our experts for every single Penguins game, only on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Pretty nifty shot by Avery Hayes off that rush. Changes the angle, pulls it in, shoots it through the body of the Wings defender. Those are hard. Those are hard for goaltenders to get a read on. So now you got to go from being set to moving with that shot as you change the angle and then trying to track it through someone's legs.
Jansen Harkins with it behind the net, stops, centers, rolls through everyone and back out to the neutral zone where Libor Hayek will track it down for the Pens. That name sounds familiar, it should. Spent the last 5 years in the New York Rangers organization. He's in camp, as are a few players in the Pens lineup tonight on a PTO, and as he watches JT Compher come in to the slot for Fabry. Back to the point, Wallman tried to shoot, fanned on it, got it back though. Backhands down low, Compher spins away from Hayek. Ruedel steals that away over to Sam Poulin, connects to Vinny Hinostroza, and he'll flip that down into the Detroit zone and run over the big Simon Edvinsson in the process. Centering pass in front for White is sticked aside by Reimer, up into the netting and out of play.
That was all Vinny Hinostroza. These things start to get a little crazy on the ice, but he doesn't just make a hit, he stays with it, follows the play up.
Scoreless as we take a look at the AHN scoreboard. Pens in the Red Wings in preseason action here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Penguins have put a couple shots on James Reimer. Colin White with a great opportunity before we went to break. He's going to take this draw opposite Dylan Larkin. You know, White's an interesting one too, Army. In camp on a PTO, played in all 21 games for the Florida Panthers in their run to the Stanley Cup final last year, but like a lot of veterans, looking for a job as the regular season draws near.
Yeah, and where do you fit? How do you do it? And I think he showed he can play in those big moments last year on that run with the Florida Panthers, but are you going to fit in here? Are you going to have a good showing? Or is everything going to go? It's not just the games too, Josh, right? It's day to day. It's practice. It's how are you in the gym? How are you around the room? So every day is so big for these guys in this situation, and lots of bodies and openings. Made it pretty interesting here at camp to follow.
Hinostroza steals the puck away, comes over the Detroit line, knocked off the puck, but supporting there is White. Down low for Wagner, leaves it for Hinostroza. Back to the point, Ouellette. Backhand to forehand, over to Friedman. Wrist shot tipped wide atop the crease by Wagner. Hunted down by Hinostroza. In front for White, dips towards the wall, and curls it back down low. The pressure from this line as the Red Wings regroup and get possession. Vero up the left wing for DeBrincat, back deeper into his own zone for the defenseman Tuomisto. Emil Viro, as we're under 5 minutes to go here in this first period. Still no score between the Pens and the Wings. Marco Kasper takes the pass up ice. Drifting right wing as he backhands it off the curved glass and out of play by the Pens bench.
You mentioned that Colin White line that was on the ice with Austin Wagner and Vinny Hinostroza. It's just, Hinostroza's kind of a pest because he's always there. Like, he's really going. He has a lot of great energy. But Austin Wagner, noticeable here in this first period physically. I like that. He's a big kid. He can skate. Had some nice big hits so far, freeing up pucks in the offensive zone, allowed them to play some good positive touch, good positive shifts down there, swirling and whirling and making things happen in the O-zone.
Penguins looking to capitalize off a Detroit turnover here as Andreas Janssen trying to dig it free, get back to his feet in the process. It's loose down low, Seider. Passing for Wallman, steers it left wing for Hannes. And he'll pass ahead for Marco Kasper. Flips that down to the Pen zone, collected by Ty Smith. Banks it back down to Detroit territory. That caught a Red Wing skate, so no icing. Allows for a wholesale change for Mike Sullivan's Penguins. As Mo Seider passes it up ahead for Hannes. Back to Seider over the line, had his stick lifted. Nylander deeper into his own end for Libor Hayek. Lost the handle, Ruedel there though. Veteran defenseman up ahead where it hits the skate as a Horner right to Nylander. Finds Pitlick who dumps it in. Alex Nylander curls it behind the net for Zahorna. Back up top, Hayek tosses it down low to Pitlick. Bumped into, lost the puck. Petrie there. He's hit by a couple of Penguins and pressured behind the net. Able to find Edvinsson. Backhands up the right wing for Hannes and he'll poke at the center. Hayek quickly ahead for Pitlick, right back over the line. Tries to get around the big body Edvinsson, who had none of that. It's still loose in the Detroit zone though. Edvinsson gets it back behind his goal. Passing for Shine, hands it off to Petrie. Tries to stick handle between Nylander and Ruedel. He did, gets it to Gettinger. He's over the line, centers in front, bounces towards the net. Shine couldn't handle the bobbling puck. It's still loose in tight quarters. Comes free to Gettinger, over to Comfort. Back up top, Petrie awkwardly receives that one, but snaps it wide. Gettinger gets it back. Watched by Ruedel, back to Viro. Stops, starts, comes back down low, over to Comfort. Prized free agent signing for Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings. 5-year deal this offseason after a career season with the Colorado Avalanche last year, putting up 52 points as the Pens play it back down to the Detroit zone. Robbie Fabry backhands behind the net to Amisto. Up the right wing for Shine. Lost the puck. Penguins get it back. Puustinen. Harkins down low. Backhand shot. They score! Xavier Ouellette goes upstairs. And the former Red Wing breaks the ice. 1-0 Pens.
Well, there's some action right there for you. And talked about as the Penguins get to their legs and generate another turnover, and just good execution off the skate to the stick. Puustinen finds Harkins into Ouellette. Look at the placement of that backhander up over the shoulder of James Reimer. Trying to pick up that backhander, it's always difficult. You can see him kind of dip his head, and that was elevated in a hurry, but I said twirling and whirling in the offensive zone. Well, they had it going that shift.
So the Penguins get the first goal of this game. And it's Xavier Ouellette, who last year had 17 points, 29 games. The Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, as we mentioned, began his career as a Red Wing. Started to feel pretty good. Pens looking for more here. Friedman loses the handle. Up ice come the Wings. In transition, it's DeBrincat. Stopping, throwing it into the slot. Lost the puck. Larkin bumped into by Hinostroza. Able to get it to DeBrincat in this slot. Had Raymond, bobbled it. Still loose. Nobody wants it. Finally, Ouellette will take it and lift it back down to the Detroit zone.
Interesting watching Ouellette and Friedman kind of read that rush, and how Friedman was, he's not afraid to be vocal, kind of handling that situation. You got him, I got him. It's great communication.
Pens right back in. Their forechecks giving the Red Wings some problems here in this first period. Janssen lost the handle, but drew a penalty. Delay call against Detroit. Ryan Shea back out at center for the Pens. Passing for Ty Smith. Right back to Shea. Nedeljkovic has gone to the Pens bench for the extra skaters. We tick down towards a minute to go. Delay call on Detroit. Smith tosses it right side to Hayes over the line. Gets around Edmondson, stops, bumped into, and finally Detroit touches up, but the Penguins, up 1-0, are getting a power play.
And it's their legs. Their legs are going to work, and slowly got into this game, but now they've been going and found a nice rhythm, and you can see the penalty on the hands. Hooking right there on Janssen as he jumped into the middle on some nice playmaking and little puck touches and support. That's the thing, that using their legs, but the second and third guys are right there, Josh, enabling them to get pucks and disrupt enough to create chances and be dangerous off of it. They're a handful right now with the way they're going.
UPMC Sports Medicine power play for the Penguins, and Radim Zohorna gets the boot on the face-off, so Andreas Janssen will flip with Zohorna and take the draw opposite JT Comfort. Won by Comfort, Edmondson to it, blasts it up the wall. Zohorna can't keep it in, and it'll go all the way back down. We saw that in Halifax too, Army, that opening face-off on the power play. You lose it, and automatically you're chasing.
Yep, and we did mention last game as well, you know, Mike Sullivan and coaching staff preaching on the penalty kill, how big it is for them, right, to win draws, and it's just eating them up right now. Last game carrying in here now on the first one, but able to set up, and we'll see what they can do in the waning seconds of this period.
Puck bounces down to the ice. Smith for Nylander. Snapshot save, Reimer, big rebound, it's loose. Penguins digging for a chance in front for Puustinen, and Reimer got a piece of that through traffic.
I thought Puustinen was going to bury that. No one knew where it was except for him.
And the Penguins try to race back in and catch Detroit in a change, but they're offside. Big stop from James Reimer late in the first.
And just a great shot coming off the wall right here with Big Z out front, and he's just bugging the puck, and the goaltender, no one's able to find it, but look at Puustinen just kind of creeping in the side. Look at him back out in that area, just so smart to find some space as the period does expire, Josh, and not bad first period for the Penguins.
Not at all. Xavier Roulette's goal, the difference, 1-0 Pens after one, and coming up in the first intermission presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Dan Potash, Jay Caulfield, and Mike Rupp. An interview, Haley will speak with Xavier Roulette, the goal scorer, and highlights and analysis from those trio of gentlemen. 1-0 Penguins after one here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Lead over the Detroit Red Wings after one period here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Xavier Roulette, you had that on your bingo card. I want to know the Powerball numbers. First and only goal in the first period for the Penguins. But the story, Army, aside from the goal from Roulette, was the play of Alex Nedeljkovic, who was busy early and really good throughout the first 20.
Yeah, the shots were, what, 6-0 through first half of the first period. And yeah, he had to be really good at certain times, and he had to be poised and under control as well. And we're getting another look on home ice with Nedeljkovic, who split his last game on this ice and was very good. That was his best save, I think, right there through the head of Mark Friedman, and able to pick it up and make a great save. Another one on DeBrincat right there, coming across, under control. Look, he's played the puck well. He's been under control and poised, as I mentioned, and swallowed up second chance opportunities as well. So a good start here again for Nedeljkovic.
You know, we talked a lot about the competition within this camp. One thing we talked about in the onset was the goaltending position, the backup goaltending. Alex Nedeljkovic has staked claim to that with how he's played in this preseason, rather, and he's been solid again tonight.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you can lend that to competition as well, as Mike Sullivan mentioned that. Goaltenders that'll push each other. You know, I think when we look at his past and what he was when he started in the league, he was, you know, a heck of a goalie, and you know, he's finding his way back. So a great opportunity for him here to come and, you know, work with Tristan Jarry, but also make that healthy competition as well, and a guy that can do that is Nedeljkovic.
Another guy who's got some healthy competition, not all the size in the world, but definitely the fire and tenacity, Vinny Hinostroza. He was noticeable again in that first period for the Penguins.
Yeah, he's just a buzzsaw out there. Not a big guy, right? But he's a guy that can turn his wheels, get after pucks. He can frustrate you by being in on you, and look at this great opportunity. Reverse hit, get out of here, and then comes in and follows up the play. He doesn't stand and watch. He follows up the play and makes a great play to White, who gets an awesome opportunity right there. Hinostroza has been noticeable in the games he's been in, and I think it's much to do with his legs. Josh, he uses his legs. It's an asset for him. He's a speedy guy and a tenacious guy. And a guy that can make a lot happen just by disrupting and getting in on pucks and getting in on battles.
Saw him run over Simon Edvinsson in that clip we just showed you. Our great crew in the truck making that possible. Vinny Hinostroza yields 8 inches of height and 26 pounds to Edvinsson, but he ran him over.
What's that old shirt? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog. And
close enough.
Was that a shirt? No,
yeah,
no fear.
It's expression.
We'll take you back to the no fear t-shirt days with that one, but Hinostroza definitely has that aspect to himself and to his play. Makes him valuable around here.
Underway, second period action. Penguins with a power play still to work with here to begin this second period. Austin Czarnik serving the remaining 48 seconds of his hooking mile. Here's Ty Smith carrying up ice for Pittsburgh. Drops it back for Alex Nylander. Carries through the neutral zone. Flips it right side. Andreas Janssen diving to knock it deeper into the Detroit end. Loose in the far corner. Wings dig it out. Jake Wallman carries up ice. Snaps it back down to the pen zone. Glove by Nedeljkovic. He'll paddle it off the end wall where it's taken away by Radim Zohorna. Drops it back for Ty Smith. The defenseman plays catch with Valtteri Puustinen, then hands it off to Zohorna over the line, slides it to Nylander, flicks it right side, Janssen, snapshot deflected on goal by Smith. Good save in tight by Reimer, and he covers up.
Just a nice play all around right there by the Penguins. One on entry, speed entering, kick it outside to Zohorna, and awesome poise by him in a tough situation, right? Just whoop, see you later, uses his body, uses his reach. And from there, they get it all set up, and because on the entry, everyone's kind of pushed around in different areas as Smith kind of kicked it out to him. He found himself down in and around the net, and almost a bang-bang play for Smith.
Face-off win by Detroit, kept it at the line by Ouellette. He'll slap it wide. Getting a piece of that was Reimer. Wagner takes a hit behind the net. Out of the box is Czarnik. He takes the puck at center ice. Back to 5-on-5 as Austin Czarnik drops it for Lucas Raymond. He'll hold. He'll try to shoot. Blocked, and the rebound swatted wide atop the crease by Czarnik. Comes back to Raymond. Slides it back for Edvinsson. He'll throw it to the net. Loose atop the crease. Ricochets right to Austin Wagner, and he'll tip it out to safety through the neutral zone. Tackled by Edvinsson, and he drew a penalty. How about that? Austin Wagner, just a hustle play there, Army, and he gets another opportunity for the Pens on the power play as a result.
Yeah, we knew coming into camp that he has some legs, right? And he can go and get up and go.
2-minute minor penalty for interference.
As we get the interference call, he can really get up and go and use his legs as an asset. He's been physical here in the first period, and on that play, able to use his legs to generate a penalty just on a loose puck. He knows he's got feet and he's got quicks. He's kind of lays it to himself to get after it. You think in that situation, you don't have to do that. Let him go. You got numbers back, but that's what happens when you're fast. It scares people.
Did you have that problem?
No. I was fast in areas. I was quick in areas, Josh.
Here comes Red Pitlick over the line for Sam Poulin. Penguins power play goes back to work, trying to add to their 1-0 lead. Poulin down low for Pitlick, back to Poulin, up top to Friedman. Snapshot is blocked. Ricochets to Harkins, across to Poulin. Rister is blocked by Seider. Penguins had 4 shots on that first power play as it makes its way to Friedman. Over to Avery Hayes. Pressured by Comfer. Back to Friedman, down low to Hayes. Hit by Seider. Gets the puck though to Poulin. Reimer doesn't have his stick here as the Penguins work it around the horn. It's Hayes. Up top to Friedman, over to Hayes. Slap shot, saved by Reimer. Loose pockets, bouncing around. Found by Harkins. Back to the point, Friedman shoots, deflection, and a great stop with the left leg by Reimer. Penguins trying to dig it free as they're all over James Reimer. His stick's still behind the Red Wing net. Seider tries to clear, hits the curve in the glass and bounces out to center ice, and up ice come the Wings. We got some action behind the play though.
Competent involved, laid out Seider, and it looked like the Red Wings were going to be off as it hit a stanchion on the glass. It would have got a 2-on-1, but Red Wings taking exception to the hit down in the corner. And
you mentioned it earlier, Army. Joona Koppinen, 6'5", 216. He's a big boy.
Poulin comes in and the aid of his teammate, and Competent getting escorted to the penalty box here. I'll be interested to see how this transpired, and this is just the hard work rate here of the Pens, just hounding pucks on pucks, and I think they're saying, hey, that was a slew
Pittsburgh,
foot.
number 16, 2-minute minor penalty for tripping. Detroit, number 96, 2-minute minor penalty for roughing.
Wallman will get a penalty as well for roughing. Here's this James Reimer around the net. No stick, as you mentioned, Josh. No big deal. He's not letting that guy go in front. Goalies will do that. They'll get out and cut away your space if you get a step on them and try to take out your body or get into you a little bit. And Reimer made a little veteran move right there, but some rough stuff, and penalties will be doled out. We'll see the power play remain up there because of the two guys going off. I like the way the Penguins have, yeah, it's on the power play, but pressured and forced and stayed on and used their legs to disrupt. It's, I think, been the best game from the Penguins this preseason with that kind of pressure, tenacious pressure on pucks.
Penguins in the attacking end. As Army mentioned, still 25 seconds to work with on this power play. Nylander up top to Smith. Back to Alex Nylander. Across for Zahorna. Skate to stick. Hold. Snaps. Blocked. And cleared. Good diving effort there by Zarnik to get it out of harm's way. Ty Smith up ice. Picked off by Tuomisto. Over the line. A snapshot is gobbled up by Nedeljkovic. He looked to play it, but the whistle sounds and play is stopped.
3 seconds left on the power play here, and Edmondson will come out of the box for that interference on Wagner. And back to 5-on-5, but coming off of this power play, important that the Penguins keep their foot on the gas with what's working for them, and that's using their feet and their speed. Causing havoc, being disruptors, Josh. Getting noticed here in the second to last preseason game.
No better time than the present. Face-off win by Comfort for Petrie. Across, Vero shot, deflects off the end wall, right in front. Comfort gripped and ripped up over the net. Vero down low, picked off by Ruedel. Banks it up the wall. Penguins trying to dig this free. Red Wings get it instead. Comfort twisting his way away from Ruedel. Back to the point. Vero shot off a stick way up into the netting and out of play.
Well, this puck just bouncing around a little bit. I like the play. That's the old Detroit Red Wings Nick Lidstrom play right here. Off the end boards out front. Now everybody does it. Everyone does that play now, but here's Comfort just trying to grab that puck. It looked like it flipped up on his stick and almost kind of flung it off his blade. It just got away from him, but you can see how defensemen use those end boards to create plays out front of the net and cause some trouble, and a good opportunity for Raymond. But it's funny watching Nedeljkovic kind of handle that situation as well, right, Josh? Just staying with it. Gets through everyone. Oh boy, it's to the backside here. Uh-oh, pretty good chance and missed by Comfort.
Wings play it back down to the Pen zone. Libor Hayek after it. Dylan Larkin right behind him. Hayek turns it over, but Raymond puts it right onto the tape of Wagner, and the Pens are safely out of their own end as Wagner dumps it down into Detroit zone. Reimer getting it to the far corner. Dug free by Wagner, who's been noticeable tonight for the Pens. Bouncing puck off Colin White, fielded by the Red Wings, and Lucas Raymond will come up ice, hit center red, and dump it in. Slowed by Nedeljkovic behind the net, plays it right to Hayek, head up as he lifts it back to the neutral zone. Mo Seider taps it over to Amisto. Bouncing puck in the neutral zone for Colin White. Colin White, originally from Boston, Massachusetts, but he's got some connections here to Pittsburgh. His grandparents, who are in attendance tonight, Jeff and Barbara Joyce, are from and live in Upper St. Clair. So there's some motivation. Not only you want to make the roster, you got to make Grandma and Grandpa happy.
He must be eating well.
No doubt about that.
That's what I think about when...
That's a good point. Those are the best cooks.
Grandparents in town, yeah, it's like they always got that secret spaghetti sauce recipe or something.
That's coming up ice. Here's Nylander backhanding it over the line as it rolls back into the Detroit zone. Vero Away from Zahorna. Petrie up ice for Kasper. Knocks it over to Hannes. Quick pass right wing for Zarnik. Lifts it to the net, deflected in tight, and a good save by Nedeljkovic. Right on top of him was Emil Viro, and Nedeljkovic with the answer.
Yeah, nicely executed play on a little mix-up on a line changes. In the neutral zone, Johansson and Ruedel kind of got crossed up. Who's going to take them? And they both decide to back off, and you can see the speed of Viro just getting through to the net and finding him for that quick little touch. But once again, Nedeljkovic, no, not over-moving, just letting pucks hit him, and he's staying in the right spot and totally controlled.
Well, Army, remember when it was 6-0 in shots for Detroit?
Yeah.
Now it's 11-10 Penguins.
Pushing themselves into this game.
There's a drive and a goal from Daniel Sprong.
You spoke too soon.
We did. Former Penguin off the face-off win, blasts it through traffic past Nedeljkovic, and we're tied at 1.
Yeah, and Daniel Sprong can shoot the puck. We talked about that, but this is a little set movement play. You can see how Sprong, a little give and go. He releases up top, pulls wingers and players around. Everyone's scrambling to kind of find that up top position. That's a really simple, automatic little face-off play that they drew up right there off the draw, executed really well, and makes wingers kind of react on the fly to pick him up as he releases off his check heading out to the point. And it's not like there wasn't guys trying to block that shot, as it just had eyes and found its way through. You mentioned Sprong, breakout year last year in Seattle, and a guy that can definitely shoot and score goals, and now with a little bit of confidence, see what he's got in store with Detroit this year.
Here he is with the puck, passing out of his own zone for Fabry. Directs to Comfort, and down it goes. We got a whistle-stopping play here, and offside on Detroit.
We'll get another look here at this face-off play I was talking about. This is just a little exchange. Watch how Sprong will kind of escort his forward that's wanting to get out to the point here. He picks up a puck, but then it's just a give and go, a little release. And the right winger there, Johansson, has to recognize that and get over and try to get in there while his other defender that he's supposed to be watching up high slides out of the picture. So just a crafty little smart play, and caught some guys in between, able to get that shot off.
Puck lifted back down to the Penn zone. No icing. Xavier Ouellette scoops it up for Pittsburgh, curls it up the wall for Harkins. And he lost it. Jansen Harkins gets it back. Mentioned earlier, you heard from Haley to start this period. Claimed off waivers by the Penguins on Monday. Got right on a plane a few hours later. And now he's making his Penguins preseason debut here tonight. He's got an assist on the Xavier Ouellette goal. 1-1 here at PPG Paints Arena. Tim Gettinger's pass is knocked down. Harkins for Puustinen with one glove on, able to lift that into the Red Wing zone as it rolls up the far wall. Larkin picks it up, over skates. Hayes has got it towards the net, snaps it wide. Dominic Shine after that. Bumped into by Kapanen. Janssen knocked off the puck. Hayek collects now for Pittsburgh with 7 minutes gone in this second period. Passes over to Chad Ruedel. 2 of his 12 NHL goals in his career against the Wings as it springs Janssen left wing. Wrist shot, save Reimer. And he's able to cover the rebound. Andreas Janssen with a great chance. Penguins looking to get back on top. This is a 1-1 game. It's the Pens and the Wings. Janssen coming down the left wing. Reimer the answer. Tied at 1, Pens and the Red Wings, and we remind you to join us on Saturday, October 14th as we kick off the season with our expanded Penguins coverage only on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. We will have a full hour of pregame coverage starting at 6 before the Pens hit the ice against the Calgary Flames. Then stay with us after the final horn for a full hour of all-star postgame coverage. Penguins, of course, kicking off their regular season right in this barn on October 10th. Next Tuesday, Army, when some kid named Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks come in here.
Yeah, that'll be hyped up. Sid the Kid against the new kid. Connor Bedard, of course, he's had some highlight reel moments through this preseason as well, the first overall selection at this year's draft, and I can't wait for that one. Can't wait for the regular season to get kicked off.
It's coming, less than a week away. Penguins pressuring here as it comes to Vinny Hinostroza. Moves away from Raymond, deeper into the attacking end, behind the net for White. Runs into some traffic, gets it to Hinostroza, back up top, Ruedel. Snapper is blocked, chopped on net on the rebound by Wagner, and Reimer able to find that with legs all around him, covers up, bodies come together.
That was another good shift by this line, and Hinostroza and Wagner using their legs and then battle ability with Koppinen down low, or White down low, sorry, and that thing kind of whipped around strong side to weak side, back to strong side, and then won a battle down low, low to high, and then just some action and chaos in and around the net. Reimer had to be ready for that one. It was just a reactionary slap towards the net with a backhand.
Off the draw, wrister from Harkins, catches a leg, doesn't get through to Reimer. Petrie hitting the near corner hard by Zohorna as it rolls up the far side. Chopped at by Hannes, back down behind the cage. Centered to the high slot for Smith. Up top, Nylander, snap shot, and that was blocked and gloved by Reimer, and more pushing and shoving, this time Harkins and Petrie, and Zohorna tied up for the Red Wing. That's Hannes. Who said it was just preseason?
I love it. I love it. I love the intensity. I love how it's ramping up. I love all the guys in the lineup here tonight are guys that have to showcase, and they're playing like it with that feeling, right? Game of passion and emotion, and I know it's hard at times in the preseason to get to it, but I loved it. And big Zorna in net front battling away. Harkins is in there hacking and whacking. No question, we've seen a different Radim Zohorna this time around with his body physically and getting to those areas, as Nylander was dumped by Seider off that faceoff.
It's getting testy. Comfer over the line for Sprong. Steers it far side. Fabry lets it go back to the point for Wallman. Across for Seider. Wrist shot deflected by Comfer wide from atop the crease. Rolls back to Wallman. Down low it goes. Ty Smith to it for the Pens. Up the wall, past everyone, down. That one goes, and that will be icing against the Penguins.
Get a look at the play off the face-off here, and Penguins working hard. You can just watch Nylander on that right side of your screen. It's a little play here. I think it's done, and then he just gives him a little pitchfork to the ice. Seider, a physical, hard-nosed player, as well as smooth skating and pretty smart and crafty. And a lot of people in the league are excited about what he could turn out to be as he ages here. Still a pretty young player.
In his own end for Wallman, back to Mo Seider. Passing up the left wing for Dominic Shine, who curls it down into the Penguin zone. Tim Gettinger playing it down deeper into the Pens end. Nylander smacks it away from the Detroit pressure, and out to the neutral zone it goes. Nylander gets it back. Plays it to Ty Smith. Penguin defenseman over to Ryan Shea. Back for Smith. Carries up ice, appeared in 9 games last year for the Penguins in the regular season. That's dumped into the Detroit zone, and we got a whistle stopping play here. Offside.
Yeah, Rem Pitlick just a little ahead of that. A little hitch at the line, a little bobble of the puck, and he was anticipating and ready to go off and forecheck. I gotta say, you're thinking about what Kyle Dubas and company are watching, and Mike Sullivan behind the bench, best seat in the house, is looking at and how guys can fit. We've seen a lot of really good things from some of these players individually, from lines.
Vinny Hinostroza back in his own end. Look out, nearly a turnover there. Friedman lives to tell the tale, ahead for White. Plays it behind the defenseman Ouellette, who clears, but it's DeBrincat playing it back down to the Pen zone. Friedman up the right wing wall for Wagner. That deflects into the Red Wing bench and out of play. And suddenly a little choppiness to this game after a pretty good flow through much of it.
Yeah, pretty good flow, and fairly even back and forth. And I've loved the Penguins' legs in this game so far, and dictating and putting the pressure on. So yeah, you know, that choppiness, that just messes up the rhythm.
Right.
You know, when you got your legs, and you're able to forecheck, and it gets a little choppy, as we tend to see through the preseason, kind of just throws off the rhythm. I think for both teams, right?
Absolutely. Face off won by the Penguins. Hayek swings it near side, deflects right to Poulin, who scoops it out the center. Marco Kasper finds Edvinsson there up the left wing for Zarnik, and he dumps it down ice. Nedeljkovic, Hayek, Poulin ahead for Pitlick, hopped off his stick, pressures though, and nearly got it back, as Austin Zarnik will carry it back into his own end for Jeff Petrie. He finds Zarnik, trying to get away from Poulin. He will, and curl it back for Edvinsson. We passed the midway point of this second period. Tied at 1, and the Red Wings have iced the puck. Take a look at Ty Hennessy, Mike Vellucci. We mentioned Alex Nedeljkovic in his first year with the Penguins. Not his first year with Mike Vellucci. Those two go back to their days in the Ontario Hockey League with the Plymouth Whalers. Ricard Raquel also on that team. So, you know, Army, you've played in the league. Sometimes that familiarity can make a huge difference with the comfort level.
Oh, when you're new, right, and you're coming into a draft, like there's nothing more awkward than being the new kid at school. You know, when you move and you walk in there and you don't really know too many guys, that makes all the difference. That'll help Nedeljkovic for sure in getting comfortable.
Here's a chance off iron from Hannes, as he got it past the arm of Nedeljkovic, but not into the twine. Sider for Jake Wallman. Came over a couple years ago from the St. Louis Blues along with Nick Leddy, and he's turned out to be a pretty good get for Steve Yzerman. Wallman with 18 points last year led Red Wing defenseman with 9 goals. Here's Ouellette. Up ahead for Harkins. Hands it off to Kapanen. Pumps it down to the Detroit zone. Sider after that. Chips it far side for Wallman to the line. It flutters out to the neutral zone. Ty Smith will pick it up. Good head fake to get away from Robbie Fabry, and he'll launch it to the neutral zone. Found there by Comfort. From between the blue lines, he dumps it in as Nedeljkovic hands it off to Smith. Passes it forward to Kapanen. Takes a hit, maintains possession, and banks it out to center. Right back in it goes from the wings. Smith, watched by Sprong. Accelerates up ice, right wing for Kapanen. Chopped back down into the Detroit zone. Reimer flings it left side. Vero bumped into by Zahorna. Cleared to the neutral zone once more. Ryan Shea collects for the Pens. Back pedals deeper in his own end. Now passes up the right side. He connects to Wagner with a step. Tries to lower the shoulder. And the puck fluttered wide of the goal. Zahorna right back up top. Hayek skate to stick. Tries to step around Shine. Knocks it deeper. After that, is Tuomisto for the Detroit Red Wings. Knocks it to the neutral zone. Chad Ruedel bumps it through center. And we got a whistle-stopping play with the puck between the benches.
And we'll head to break. We get a look at this shot. In the business, we call this the Croast.
Welcome back to PPG Paints Arena. We are tied in the second period, and it is coming down to the wire here tonight for players like Alex Nylander trying to earn himself a spot on this NHL roster and perhaps trying to prove that he was worth that 8th overall pick back into the NHL draft in 2016. If you can remember, he spent quite a bit of time making the 4-hour drive back and forth between Wilkes-Barre and Pittsburgh at the end of last season, 12 times within just those last 5 weeks. I talked with him earlier. He said he really wants to emphasize his work on the forecheck, make sure he's winning all of those puck battles out there. He said he has to bring his A game tonight, no other options.
Thanks, Haley. Yeah, Alex Nylander was, Haley's right, going back and forth from Wilkes-Barre Scranton to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania quite a bit last year. His only goal for the Penguins in the regular season actually came against the Red Wings in Detroit in the 5-1 Penguin win. As Wagner charges up ice for the Pens. Gains the line, tries to center in front, catches a man, Finnish throws it back in front, and that is stopped by Reimer. How did he get a piece of that chance from White?
What a desperation save. What a play, as kind of ran out of real estate and just bumped it back out front. What legs by Austin Wagner, getting up ice on that as well. And a look at it. Petrie may have blocked it. Crazy how that stayed out.
You had to figure. Had to figure there was some extra help there, because that one, see if we get another look at that one. That was probably the best chance the Penguins have had to break the deadlock.
And talk about legs getting up ice. Everyone was on their horse. And just Petrie just goes stick on puck. Gets his shaft of his stick right there, just enough to direct it away from the front of the net. And boy, talk about decision making though, Josh, when you are taking it to the net like that and you're right on the doorstep, to be able to kind of just bunt it back out front to some guys that may be there, as we see that we're getting some net repairs. Maybe the camera's up top there.
They will tend to the net, and we will step aside. 1-1, 6:47 to go in the second period. You got to look at Jeff Petrie there. He and the Red Wings tied with the Penguins 1-1. You notice the number, 46. After he was acquired by Detroit from Montreal, of course flipped to Montreal in the Erik Karlsson deal as part of that 3-team trade with the Penguins, San Jose, and the Canadiens. So he goes to Detroit, he changes his number to 46. You may ask, why? Well, his dad, Dan, was a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, won a World Series with the Tigers in 1984, and guess what number he wore?
I'm guessing 46.
You're guessing correctly.
I knew it.
That's pretty cool.
That is really cool. An homage to his old man.
Jeff, of course, a Michigan native, played at Michigan State college hockey. Spent last season here with the Pens.
Yeah, that's cool to be able to do that, to go home and play for your hometown team now, and with that connection, as you mentioned, be able to sport his dad's old number. Fans gotta like that, right?
You win a lot quickly. A lot of fans will like you in a hurry when you connect the dots for Detroit championships past. Marco Kasper putting it down low for Cross Hannes. Spins away from Avery Hayes. Battling for possession. Hannes gets it to Wallman. Blast! Sliding and blocking. That was Andreas Janssen. Double stack of pancakes there. As Mo Seider picks it up. His shot is blocked by Ouellette. Wallman settles the bouncing puck, run into by Janssen. That knocks the puck out to the neutral zone, where Seider will blast it back in.
Andreas Janssen was an animal on that block.
I wonder if he played in street hockey goalie. He had the technique.
Oh, that was old school.
Here's Friedman passing ahead for Hayes. The flex down to the Detroit zone. Emil Viro with it there, over to Dominic Shine up the right side. Hands it off to Nolan Stevens, back to Shine. Pumps it behind the net. Ty Smith after it there, shovels it right side. Zahorna bumped into by Viro. Puck bounces up in the air as they joust for possession. And Tim Gettinger able to steer it around to Tuomisto. Zahorna for Nylander, past the benches, back to Zahorna, over the line, trying to split the defense, and he's knocked down by Shine. Viro curls it up the wall. Smith right back down low for the Pens to the big man, Radim Zahorna. Behind the net for Harkins. Delay call here against the Red Wings. They touch up. And we got a penalty stopping play, and a high sticking infraction looks to be the call at ice level.
And Shine is being escorted over to the box. It's just two.
Detroit number 50, minor penalty, high sticking.
That's just 2-minute penalty. High sticking, as I believe, was it on Jansen Harkins as he gets his stick kind of wrapped around him on that battle down low, and making his presence felt here. Jansen Harkins has come over from Winnipeg, and the primary assist on the first goal. Drawing a penalty here, trying to impact the game and get noticed, and he's done that so far.
Penguins 0 for 2 on the power play so far tonight. 6 shots on goal. This face-off won by Poulin to Mark Friedman. At the point, blasts one, and a save made by Reimer. Traffic in front, but that hit him right on the winged wheel, and he covers up.
I think Poulin just kind of crossed through his eyes a little bit soon to step out of the way instead of being there and then being a net front guy. That's a skill, how to get in there and get out of there when the pucks are coming in, and just one split-second delay, he took Reimer's eyes away a little bit longer.
Another face-off win for the Penguins in subsequent possession. Jansen Harkins trying to dig it free. It comes up the wall, picked up by Detroit. JT Comfort guides it out the center. Swerves his way through the neutral zone. Now gains the line short-handed, and we got a whistle-stopping play.
He's getting both guys here.
It's the referee Kendrick Nicholson giving them both the hook. Here's the announcement.
I believe an interference, and what's the next one?
Detroit 71, minor penalty interference. Pittsburgh 85, 2 minutes, unsportsmanlike conduct embellishment.
I don't know about that. I saw they definitely collided. I don't know if how much he embellished. She's trying to make a strong play on Comfer, who's a good penalty killer in the NHL for a long time. The Wings signed him to a big contract, but just reaching in on the puck, trying to make a plays. Picked by Larkin nonetheless. Both guys get penalties, they both go off. Penguins remain on the power play.
Still about 90 seconds to work with on the man advantage. As Zahorna wins that face-off, back to Smith. Andreas Janssen, handful of years removed from a 20-goal campaign with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He looks on with Smith possessing the puck, over to Nylander. Rips down low, back to Ty Smith. Passes for Andreas Janssen. He'll wind and rip one that hits Sider. Picks up the loose puck, tries to clear. Ran into some trouble, gets it back, and the second time makes no mistake. Down it goes. Ty Smith will pick it up here for the Penguins. Quarterbacking this power play for Pittsburgh. Passing for Nylander over the line. Stops on the wall, but lost the handle, and Zarnik takes that away and dumps it back down.
It's a good entry, good decision by Nylander there, Josh, just as a red kind of outside bump, and he stayed with it and hung on to it, and then when he did his little turn back to under control, just out of his reach.
Bouncing puck wide of Reimer, comes back behind the net. Hinostroza digs it free. Back to the point for Friedman. Right back to Hinostroza, sauces it cross ice, and it hopped over the stick of Harkins. And Friedman picks it back up at center ice. He'll connect to Hinostroza. Passes to Harkins, leaves it for Poulin. Back to Harkins. Carries behind the net. Up top for Friedman. Left side, it's Poulin in front. Hinostroza carries back down low. Out of the box is Dominic Shine, and he picks it up at his own blue line. Looking for help. He's got Fabry with him. Passes to him. Fabry moves around a man. Back in front. Shine shoots. And Nedeljkovic, a big stop in tight. Rolls back to the point. Vero, his pass picked off by Pitlick. Chips it forward for Poulin. Over the line and run into by Shine as he dumps it into the Detroit zone. Vero with 2:15 to go in the second. Ahead to Shine. Fans on the dump attempt. Ruedel puts it right back down to the Detroit zone. Tuomisto knocked into. Loose puck behind the net. Colin White lets it go to Chad Ruedel. Steers it all the way around up the wall for Hayek. Plays it back down low. Kapanen lost it. Vero tries to clear. Good keep by Chad Ruedel, getting his body in front of it. Back down low it goes. Tuomisto up ice for Shine. He finds Daniel Sprong, and his goal has tied this game at 1 way back here earlier in the second period. As we reach the final 90 seconds of the second stanza. Joona Kapanen carries it deeper into the Detroit zone, loose behind the net. Nylander digging for it. Kapanen bumped into by Wallman. Couple of bodies leaning on that end wall there, trying to get it free. JT Comfer and Nylander gets it free to Harkins. Back to the point, who let wrist shot wide. Here's Shea. Jolts it back down low for Nylander. Up the wall, lost the handle. Raymond chips it to the line, kept in. Zahorna fumbled the puck though, and it comes back to center once more. Ouellette turns it over. Here's Raymond with a minute to go. Down the right side in the slot to Brink and whips it just wide. And it's picked up by Zahorna. He lost the handle. Comfer for Seider, back to Comfer, hit by Zohorna. Nylander to it, patiently down low for Harkins, steps to the net, throws it, and it's blocked behind the cage. Here's Seider, tied up, fell to the ice. We play on to Brinkett, able to clear to center. Roulette passing for Harkins, right back over the line. He'll change and lift it down to the Detroit end once more. Seider off the end wall for Wallman. Passing left side, Alex to Brinkett, takes it through center ice, scoops it in on Nedeljkovic. He'll glove it down to the stick, paddle it to Hayek. Passes ahead where it's picked off by Seider. Hannes had it hop off his stick, a chance possibly for Hinostroza, but Hannes recovered nicely there to take it back for Detroit. And here comes Jeff Petrie, passing forward for Hannes. In the neutral zone, lobs it back into his own end, and that will do it for the second period of play. So the Penguins and Red Wings all square at one after 2 periods of play.
We're set up for a good third.
Haley Hunter will speak with Vinny Hinostroza during our second intermission. Dan Potash, Mike Rupp, Jay Caulfield, all coming your way on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. 2 periods in the books, getting set for period number 3 between the Pens and the Detroit Red Wings. The shots are even at 16 apiece. The score is even at 1 apiece. We mentioned those 16 shots, Army. Radim Zohorna doesn't have any of them, but he's doing a lot more than just that for the Penguins here tonight.
Yeah, I think this game has been much like the rest of his preseason games he's been in, and it's been noticeable. I think what we see from him is a big man, big body style game with skill and his ability to get to areas, and he's been able to do that here today. Look at him on the penalty kill with that reach, right? I said he looked like a crane working on skyscrapers with that reach, but look at him here net front, rummaging around in front, and then almost that reach comes in and he's almost able to tuck one here. But for a big guy to be able to use that body, get to areas, and be available to pester with that stick as he does here to create. That's all he's done this entire game, though. And you know, the package of Radim Zohorna and what you're going to get from him game in and game out, if he can keep playing this style of hockey, Josh, I think the Pens are going to have a really tough decision on what to do with him, or maybe an easy decision.
There's something to be said for centering the Penguins' top line with what is not a traditional Penguins lineup against some fellow NHLers in that Detroit roster and having the game he is tonight. Let's turn our attention now to the Edgar Snyder and Associates hit of the game, and it's a big one.
And this happened early in the game, and this was kind of setting the tone as Austin Wagner, we've seen him with his legs. Jay illustrated that penalty that he drew, using his legs, but he was using his body as well, and a big body kid, there's a big boomer of a hit. So he gets in on the forecheck, and the Pens will look to do more of that here in the third. Disrupt, cause chaos, get after the puck, and create offensive zone opportunities.
Got to look there at the Edgar Snyder and Associates hit tracker. We said it earlier, don't tell these guys it's not the preseason. There's been some physicality. We'll see what the third period has in store. Back underway, Penguins controls. Ty Smith lifts it down on Reimer. He'll cover up. Both James Reimer and Alex Nedeljkovic going the distance tonight. Mike Sullivan and Derek Lalonde, the respective head coaches, confirmed that earlier today, and so far both have been pretty solid for their respective teams in this one.
Yeah, I think when you get this deep into the preseason, Josh, you want to get your guys some time, you want to get your guys in a rhythm, and get used to playing a full 60 minutes, and it's that time.
Radim Zohorna gets booted from the dot, so Jansen Harkins will take it against JT Compher, who wins it for Detroit. Jeff Petrie up the wall, knocked down by Shea, nearly kept it alive at the line. Bouncing puck as Shea hits the deck. And Compher has the puck stripped off his stick by Nylander. Back into his own zone for Ryan Shea. Gets it to Harkins, back to Shea, flings it to Smith. Up ice for Zohorna. Dumps that down to the Red Wings zone. Reimer pops it up the wall, turns it over to Nylander. Down low, dug for by Harkins. Has a couple of Red Wings body him behind the cage. And it's dug out by Edvinsson. His pass knocked down. Nylander, good work there to Harkins. Tried to center to White, deflects to the corner. Harkins gets it back. He's hunting the puck. For Ruedel, dumped back down low. Collected by Jeff Petrie. Passes up the right side for Sprong. Back into his own zone to Edvinsson. Parries behind the net. White right there with him. Got tangled up with Reimer. Those two back into the action. Raymond carries into the Pittsburgh zone, bumped into by Hinostroza. Heard from Vinny Hinostroza with our Haley Hunter after the second period, just trying to manufacture the chances that could lead to the next goal to give the Penguins the lead back in this game.
He hit it on the head too.
He really did.
He's working hard, being disruptive, getting on pucks, and they started out this period doing that again.
And now a message from Sheely's Furniture, Appliances, and Mattresses.
Penguins Hockey is brought to you by Sheely's Furniture, Appliances, and Mattresses, the official furniture and mattress supplier of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Off the icing, Red Wings will get an offensive zone draw. Dylan Larkin going to take it. It's been fairly quiet tonight. Captain had 32 goals last year, 79 points, led the way for the winged wheel. Face-off won by Colin White as Chad Ruedel plays it out the center. Mo Seider with it there, over to Jake Wallman. Back up the right side. Raymond had it knocked off his stick. Hayek guides it ahead for Puustinen, and down it goes into Detroit zone once more. Wallman scoops it up, passes for Seider. Ahead on the play for Marco Kasper. Had a bit of a crazy start to his NHL career. Marco Kasper played one game for the Red Wings last year, and then it was found out he had a broken kneecap and was shut down for the rest of the season. That after coming over from Europe, where he spent the first half of the year. But he's ready now.
It sounds horrible.
It does not sound like an enjoyable experience. Red Wings play it back down to the Penguins zone. Ouellette will chase after that. His goal, the lone one for the Penguins. Daniel Sprong is struck for the Red Wings in a 1-1 game here in Pittsburgh. Cross Hannes picks up the puck, comes up ice, passes for Kasper. He'll carry in right side. Knocked into by Ty Smith. Loose puck corralled by Janssen. And Avery Hayes able to scoop it out the center. Competent jolts it down to the Red Wing zone. Hayes crashes in there with Vero. Zarnik able to steer it ahead for Hannes. Stick handles through the neutral zone, chops it to Zarnik. Over the line, he'll stop. Cross ice feed. Kasper overskates. Janssen across center red and floats it down into the glove of Reimer, who will leave it behind the net for the defenseman Antti Tuomisto.
There's been some good chances, I think, both ways. Last period, Red Wings hit the Crost, as I called it, the post and the crossbar. Crost.
I like it.
And goalies have had to be sharp here in this one.
Nolan Stevens backhands right side. He catches Petrie over the line, who dumps it in. Nedeljkovic for Hayek. Pushed forward to Harkins. His pass knocked down. Here's Stevens, stripped of the puck by Harkins. Ruedel for Zahorna. Fan on the cross-ice pass, but Nylander gets it anyway. He's bumped into, though, by Shine and knocked off the puck. Here's Simon Edvinsson. Gallops out of his own zone, pressured by Harkins, dumps it in. Nedeljkovic behind the net for Hayek. Pass knocked down by Comfer, trying to get it free for the Red Wings. Instead, it's the Pens with it, and here comes Nylander. Gets the legs churning through center and guides the puck deep into the Red Wing net. Wallman, nice move to spin away from Wagner. Passes left side for Robbie Fabry. Lost possession out in the neutral zone. Wagner plays it right into the midsection of Seider. He'll collect the puck, connect to Fabry, who curls it ahead for Sprong. Gains the line, right side to Comfer, off the skate, deeper into the Penguin zone. Comfer trying to pick it up. It comes far side for Wagner, hit hard by Fabry, but it's Ouellette knocking it out to center ice.
Early here for the Penguins, I feel like just that rhythm, right? A couple turnovers here and there, unable with it on a pass, and they're regrouping and then unable to get pucks in deep and do what they've done so well through this game so far, and that's get to their speed and get in and disrupt.
And stump it back down to the Red Wing zone. DeBrincat hit there by Competent. Trying to get the puck free for Pittsburgh. Larkin, risky pass there, but he knows what he's doing. And Raymond gets it out the center. Here comes DeBrincat. Tries to get around Shea. Closed off by Shea, and the shot goes wide from DeBrincat.
Nifty move by DeBrincat there. This little pop inside on Shea, and good stick. He's talking about how confident he is with his stick at timing those pokes, and as a defender, it's always a good tool and weapon to have.
Mike Sullivan talked about Ryan Shea this morning, said the biggest thing for any player who spends a lot of time in the American League and moves up to this level is the speed, is adapting, making the decisions. You mentioned it, from a defenseman's perspective, those decisions can loom particularly large. And Ryan Shea has carried himself well for preseason action.
And to make things even harder on you, Ryan, we'll put you on the offside.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good point.
But he has looked really well. He has looked really good, and I think what jumps out to me is talking about those decisions, but just his poise on pucks and ability to get out of trouble and hang on to pucks at the right time.
6 minutes gone here in the third. Penguins and Red Wings tied at 1. Hinostroza looking for a connection there to Wagner. That was read and knocked down by Edmondson. And it's Nedeljkovic back in his own end, leaving it for Libor Hayek.
I was thinking on that play as it developed from our great seats and our great spot here. Just that little, what is it, space play, little aerial flip over. We saw Sid try that to Rust in Halifax a few nights ago.
Nolan Stevens over the line for Gettinger. His shot blocked into the corner. Dug deeper by Shine. It rolls far side. Sam Poulin picks it up there for Pittsburgh. Pass ahead. Catches Puustinen, but he dragged himself offside, and play is stopped. Penguins and Red Wings all tied at 1. We'll see who breaks the deadlock on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. 1-1 here in the third period. A reminder to stay up to date on the latest news and team action from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Follow Sportsnet Pittsburgh on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for news and programming updates. You never know, you might see Colby Armstrong appearing on the TikTok. He loves the dances on there.
I would dominate TikTok if I was on there.
Social media influencer Colby Armstrong.
Yeah. I could be more active on there, I think.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I'm not active. You're welcome, people.
Penguins back in their own end. Here's Mark Friedman. Flips it out the center, intercepted by Wallman, but the Pens get it right back as Poulin chips it deeper into the Detroit zone. Rem Pitlick after it there for Pittsburgh. Throws it cross ice, Ouellette, wrist shot, deflection, and a save made by Reimer.
Poulin in and around the net, Josh. He's good in and around the net. And has been in the preseason his game so far.
Scored some dirty, greasy goals. One of them against the Red Wings. Crashing the net in the first game between these two teams. As Poulin picks it up. Misfires on the pass to Ouellette. It's Comfer intercepting in the slot. Sprong holding, throws it atop the crease, knocked down by the stick of Mark Friedman.
Never give up. Oh. Friedman says as he was down and out, but had the presence of mind to just flash his stick back across and cut that pass off. Sprong, patience on that play.
A little surprising Daniel Sprong didn't just let it rip. He's always trigger happy. Has the goal tonight, but credit to Mark Friedman breaking that up as the Penguins dump it back down to the Red Wings zone. Vero off the end wall, picked up by Larkin. Pressured by Colin White, leaves it behind the net for Vero. On the right side and lifted up into the air by Tuomisto. That rolls down to Penguins territory. Shea chips it behind the net for Smith. Lost the puck, centered towards the top of the crease. That wasn't converted. Now Larkin throws it in front, and Nedeljkovic with a great stop, point blank on Lucas Raymond. We're still tied.
Turnover in the offensive zone, and a credit to Nedeljkovic for just holding his ground. Tic-tac-toe, quick play, and a little cross-body bunt play out front. Checking it out right here with our Supermo presented by AHN, and Nedeljkovic just able to have that puck hit him and covers it up right away. Says, well, we're done, let's get organized.
Another great stop there by Nedeljkovic. Don't look past that one.
DeBrincat again.
Robs him on the one-timer.
Third big save he's had on DeBrincat. It's a great face-off play by the Red Wings again, as we've seen them score on a Sprong goal off a face-off play. This one, a little different looking, to DeBrincat kind of fading off to that backside.
Face-off control by the Pens. Hayek whips it around the far side, kept in by Petrie. Down low to Raymond. Hit by Ruedel. Behind the net, Larkin tries to center. That's knocked down by Harkins. And it skips its way out through the neutral zone. After that, Wagner nearly found Harkins, who had slipped his way right down the slot. The puck comes out to center ice. Hayek knocks it down to the Detroit zone. Reimer playing it to Petrie, ahead for Larkin. Leaves it for Petrie. Curls it for Edmondson, he's over the line. We got some scrapping going behind the play as Lucas Raymond.
Jansen Harkins on the bottom. I heard someone yell.
Yep, words we can't repeat.
Wake up. Previous to this happening, as Harkins took a healthy run at one of the Detroit Red Wings. I mean, he just whizzed by him, and I don't think they took too kindly to that, but that's what you got to do. You got to be involved, as Harkins has here today, drawing penalties and primary assist on our lone goal here for the Penguins.
2 minutes rough.
That's right there. Your point, Army. He just drew that penalty on Lucas Raymond. He's the only one going to the box, Lucas Raymond, and that's all Jansen Harkins.
It is, you're right, and that's what you want to do. You want to make your presence felt. He made a great defensive play prior to the shift, but you can see in the neutral zone here, as they were after him a little bit from that little whizzed hit. I don't know if we could find that. It was a healthy run, and how fast Harkins can skate, as we've seen him here early as a Penguin, but they're not happy with him. You can see the cross check as Raymond follows up and says, hey, you're not getting away with that. They didn't like that. And we'll see what the Penguins can do here on the power play. Could this be the difference? Putting them back in the lead, Josh. Who's going to be the hero?
Face-off won by Detroit, flipped up the wall. Trying to keep it alive as Pitlick, he does. Bouncing puck, Rem Pitlick smacks it back to the right point. Mark Friedman receives there and rotates it around. Hayes lost possession. Comfort dumps it back down. Alex Nedeljkovic leaves it behind the net for Mark Friedman. Drop back for Avery Hayes. With speed through center, connects to Harkins, who drew this penalty on Lucas Raymond, and the ensuing power play happening right now for the Pens. Harkins takes a big hit there by Dominic Shine.
This might be a penalty.
Shot to the face from Dominic Shine after that.
Oh, they're getting him for it. Yeah, it went right out. He's trying to sell it. It went off the glass. I didn't think it did either. Harkins has been all over this game.
And Shine is continuing to tail Harkins on the way back to the bench.
Number 77, 2-minute minor penalty, delay of game, shooting the puck over the glass.
Edmondson's pleading his case, but
get a good look at it right here. I'm saying it went off the boards, but I just don't get at that angle how it could do that. So a heck of an opportunity right now for the Penguins with a 2-man advantage for a good amount of time.
Radim Zohorna, JT Compher on the faceoff. 5-on-3 for the Pens for the next minute 17. Zohorna wins the draw.
How big was that?
That's huge. Here's Janssen. Up top for Ty Smith. Left wing Puustinen, back to Smith. Finds Puustinen. Dusts it off. Over to Ty Smith. Drifts towards the wall. Passing for Puustinen. Smith holding it for Puustinen in the slot. Deflects back to Smith. Over to Nylander. He'll grip. Rip. Save. Reimer. Rebound loose. And James Reimer keeps it out with the Penguins crashing the net. And bodies go flying. Mo Seider right on top of Andreas Janssen, who was somehow unable to get that past the right leg of Reimer.
Janssen not happy, getting roughed up a little extra by Seider on that play. A good job. You can see what they wanted to do, rotate it over a little bit. Credit to Compher for Detroit. I'd mentioned his penalty killing ability, cutting off that pass to Nylander, who wanted to attack down that flank and ended up getting a good shot as the boys crash the net. It looks like they're gonna call a timeout.
Pittsburgh is using their 30-second timeout.
Yep, 30-second timeout for the Pens to get to the drawing board here. 48 seconds left. Josh, on this 5-on-3 opportunity. What are they seeing? What are they doing? How are they going to generate that one chance that makes a difference?
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Army. Winning that face-off is huge. The puck movement was there, but it looked like until Alex Nylander let it go, there was a little hesitation to get the puck towards the net.
That's fine. I know they wanted to set it up and rotate it around and get them in a favorable matchup where they could come downhill on that opportunity.
Penguins, we mentioned, less than a week away from the real deal. Here's a look at their October schedule. First 2 games, Chicago and Washington will be national TV. As we mentioned, the Calgary Flames come to town on Saturday, October 14th. That'll be our first Sportsnet Pittsburgh broadcast of the year. Pregame on the air at 6 o'clock. And we're off and running. Penguins hoping to take the lead back in this game. 5-on-3 for another 48 seconds, and we get a false face-off here.
Reset the clock as the second tick down, and they do. Big draw by Zahorna last time. They do it again.
Pens get possession. Here's Smith. Carries towards the wall, pivots back to the line. Ty Smith, smooth with the puck, over to Puustinen. Back to the left side for Nylander. He'll drift back to the line, hand it off to Puustinen, back to Nylander, across for Smith to Nylander, bombs one, blocked by Comfort. Puustinen for Nylander, down low, Janssen picks it up, dishes back to Smith. He'll wind, fake over to Puustinen, shoots, and he didn't get all of it, broke his stick. But the clear attempt is kept in by Smith. Good work there, gloves it down to his stick, over to Nylander, across to Smith, hopped off his skate. Plays it behind the net to Janssen, right side to Nylander. Up top to Puustinen, 2 seconds on the 5-on-3, Raymond's out. It's Smith snapping it, blocked. Ricochets to center, look out. Lucas Raymond's loose. He's got a shorthanded breakaway. In on goal, backhander, Nedeljkovic with the right leg, says no. And another shorthanded chance here for Zarnik. He comes in, Nedeljkovic stopped him too. Alex Nedeljkovic putting on a show.
Oh, baby. That was unorthodox as he went for like a poke check, I think, right there as well, did Nedeljkovic. 2 huge saves.
Pens back in. Trying to factor something here as Hayes goes left side to Poulin. Drops it back, Avery Hayes. Wrist shot saved by Reimer.
Wow.
How about Alex Nedeljkovic keeping this game tied at 1, Army?
Breakaway, shorthanded, no thanks. And welcome back, 1-1. We're still tied. And here's maybe the reason why. Penguins 5-on-3 power play. What a stretch save to stay with Lucas Raymond. And here's another one that just followed up right after. Nedeljkovic's stick was half out of his hand. He had it stretched out for a poke check. Able to come up big there. Look at that look. Look at that smile on his face. He's having fun. That was a big moment. 5-on-3, shorthanded, and then boom, boom, just like that. He has to be a hero here for the Penguins, Josh.
Red Wings come back in. It's Raymond wristing it, getting a stick on that is Nedeljkovic. And Lucas Raymond all of a sudden has had 2 of the best chances in this game in the last minute. And Alex Nedeljkovic has stopped them both.
This used to drive me nuts as a righty. You rip it back across like that. It's crazy how often it hits the butt end as we look at our Super Bowl presented by AHN. And sometimes you got to be a little lucky too, right? How does it hit that?
It kind of defies.
Penguins fans will remember
Science.
Hedberg, the Moose.
Oh yeah.
I was with him in Atlanta, and I used to hit his butt end all the time, and he used to tell me, I'm meaning to do that. I know it's going there, and he's driving me absolutely insane. There's no way.
Hinostroza tripped up, and another penalty against Detroit. You know, you give the Penguins a lot of credit tonight, Army, because they've drawn these penalties off effort.
Yep.
It's keeping their legs moving. It's battling for pucks, and it's making Detroit take a lot of penalties in this game and therefore give the Pens a lot of opportunity.
Detroit, number 51, minor penalty interference.
Viro in the box for interference, and you're right. You moving your legs, being involved, just gets tied up right there. He tried to let go of his top hand and pull the stick through his legs to get away with it, but Hinostroza, who's been noticeably fast all game, uses his legs to make something happen again, and there's looks like another penalty here.
Got a face-off infraction here. I think Sampuan's going to the box.
Pittsburgh number 22 has been assessed a 2-minute minor penalty for playing the puck with his hand on a face-off.
Yeah, we'll get a look at it. These battles in here on the face-off. These guys are so low to the ice, and you can see his hand kind of shoot in there and puts the puck back to his defenseman, and you're not allowed to do that.
So that power play lasted all of 2 seconds for the Penguins.
Are they looking at it? Does he hit it with his hand, or does it get hit with his stick? Because
yeah, referees.
well, he's trying to figure out where they're putting the face off.
Meanwhile, the players not policed on the ice, and Mark Friedman having a chit chat with Robbie Fabry and Mo Sider. Never at a loss for words.
I think Friedman, I think he's not happy with Sider. The way he roughed up the Penguins player at the side of the net, and he'll have something to say about that, there's no question. And last year I got to be between the benches a few games, and Friedman is pretty entertaining down there as the refs finally figure out where they're putting this face off, and it'll be 4-on-4 here now, down in the D zone to the left of James Reimer.
So Horna on the draw, opposite Comfer, who wins it for Detroit. Wallman spinning away from Nylander, back behind his own net. Nylander right with him though. Alex Nylander forcing a turnover there. It's loose on the wall. Detroit does come away with it. They have a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Penguins getting back though. Fabry for Comfer, pass knocked down by Nylander on the back check. And out to center it goes.
Just a tough bank off the wall there for Nylander. You can see he wanted to get it to Zohorna, and they would have been gone the other way, and now stuck without the puck at 4-on-4. It's almost like 3-on-3 overtime in a way.
Wallman ahead for JT Comfer. Rumbles in, over the line, stops, looking for help. He's got it. It's Edvinsson towards the net, shoots and scores! Simon Edvinsson gives Detroit their first lead of the game with under 7 minutes to play.
Yeah, because they're unable to come up with that little bank pass, you see Detroit keeps possession and then drawing two guys to him on the wall, and Edvinsson with a great read to just shoot in, make himself available with a threat as Fabry's at the side of the net, but that little pull drag shot to change the angle on the Delkovich, who's been so good here today. And Arvidsson's a nice player, nice looking player though. He's big, skates really well, got a little nastiness to him. He's been involved here today as well.
So the Red Wings now with the 2-1 lead. And the man who scored it's got the puck. Edvinsson scoops it ahead for Marco Kasper. Hilja in the line. Drops it for Petrie. Dangles, centers, deflects to the far side. Kasper with it. Twists his way back to the point. Petrie's there, across for Edvinsson. He finds Sprong, lost in his skates, and the puck boots out the center. Or Sprong plays it deeper into his own zone. Jeff Petrie to it there for the Red Wings. Watched by Harkins, fires right side for Sprong. He gains the line. Snaps in, a save made by Nedeljkovic. Back to the point it comes. To Amisto. For Wallman, winds blast. That went over the arm of Nedeljkovic and out to center. A lot of steam on that one as Cross Hannes is back at his own end. Steps away from Kapanen. Over center red, now the attacking line as he leaves it for Zarnik. Drops it back to Wallman. Passes over to Amisto for Zarnik. Wallman flips it right into the glove of Friedman. He'll carry it out. Passes ahead for Competent. Gains the line out of the box. Is Poulin as well as Vero.
I don't think the Penguins, as these penalties expire, Josh, touch the puck. An entire 4-on-4, all possession by Detroit, and obviously led to the go-ahead goal as well. Being able to keep that puck, eventually work some magic.
Ryan Shea across for Libor Hayek. Plays that down inside Detroit territory. Pitlick after it. Spins off a check. A shot there from Pustin and is blocked. Wallman chips it over the boards, over the glass, and out of play. Simon Edvinsson has broken a 1-1 tie in Detroit. Leads it 2-1 late in the third here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Back to PPG Paints Arena, where the Detroit Red Wings lead the Penguins by a score of 2-1 late in the third period. Alongside Colby Armstrong, I'm Josh Getzoff. Army, we talked about the spots that are still up for grabs for the Penguins. There are spots to be had. Who in your minds put a good stake in their name here tonight?
We've talked a lot about Radim Zohorna, but I think coming in tonight with the circumstances, newly acquired off waivers from Winnipeg, and Jansen Harkins has been noticeable. One, his speed, his tenacity on pucks, physicality. He's primary assist on the Xavier Ouellet goal as well, so he figured it on the stat sheet. But drawing penalties, he's just been all over this game. I got to give him a lot of credit. New face in the room, right? Want to put your best foot forward. What are we doing systems-wise? How's this all working? Hi, I'm Jansen Harkins. Nice to meet you. And goes out, and he's been really good here. His first look in a Penguins jersey, Josh.
Penguins have some work to do. Down 2-1, 4:40 to play. As Austin Wagner carries through center, he'll scoop it down to the Detroit zone. Sider after that drives it up the wall. Wallman tries to clear, glove down by Shea. Bouncing puck to Wallman, knocks it to center ice, and down it goes, fluttering on its side. And it does have enough steam, just barely, for icing. And now a word from attorney David Schrager.
I'm attorney David Schrager. We think of this as a family, and it is our job to help your family. Don't be scared, be prepared.
Penguins getting prepared for this offensive zone draw. Radim Zohorna will take it. He's out there with Jansen Harkins and Alex Nylander up front. Dylan Larkin will battle Zohorna in the dot. We get a whistle stopping the action before it even begins there.
We want guys to back up. You know, that linesman's backs to those guys and take the opportunity to cheat a little.
Shot off the draw was blocked, bouncing around. Detroit does corral it, but Larkin's knocked off the puck. Here's Hayek. Sauces it ahead for Nylander, dumps it in. Sider after it, pressured by Harkins. As Sider scoops it up the wall, it hit the back of Dominic Shine. Shine able to find that puck and clear as Zohorna gets run over by Dylan Larkin. And it's icing on Detroit again.
Generating scoring chances. It's kind of dried up a little bit here for this Penguins team. Getting pucks in and getting after it and hoping to free something up. They've been so good at creating off a forecheck here tonight. We got to get inside and try to generate something around James Reimer here late in this third. Try to tie this game up.
Poulin gets kicked out of the dot. Rem Pitlick will take the draw. And it's won by Detroit's Dylan Larkin. Sider trying to clear. It does make its way to the neutral zone where Mark Friedman picks it up for the Pens. His pass knocked down by Wallman, but flutters back towards the Detroit line. It's Poulin after it into the Red Wing zone. Knocked past him up the wall. Nolan Stevens guides it to center. Mark Friedman for Ty Smith, dumps it back down to the Detroit zone. Hit the paddle of Reimer. Chipped up the wall, Stevens couldn't keep it out. It's Friedman to Poulin over skates, and Dominic Shine the other way for Nolan Stevens. Back to Shine, couldn't handle the pass. It's loose in the skates of Ty Smith. Friedman digs it away. Turnover, look out, turning and shooting is Stevens. That's blocked by Ty Smith. Stevens gets it back and backhands down low for Shine. His centering pass picked off by Sam Poulin, who lifts it in the air back to the Detroit zone.
Great awareness by Mark Friedman there defensively, not to leave the front of the net. As he's able to pick off that centering pass. Could have been dangerous. It's a smart play.
Ruedel trying to dig it free from Sprong, who takes it for Detroit. Over to Comfort. Up top to Petrie. Snap shot right into the breadbasket of Nedeljkovic, and there's no rebound.
I think the thing I like about this game is there's been some fire in it. You don't often see that too much, I think, in the preseason. And
right.
You just sense the desperation by a lot of guys, even on Detroit's team as well. And possibly this could be their last look in this lineups.
Austin Wagner over the attacking line for the Penguins. Gets around Petrie, who recovered to bump Wagner into the wall. Sprong there for support, as is Colin White for Pittsburgh, as Ruedel creeps up on the play as well. White digs it free, but nobody there for the Pens in this slide as the puck flutters back down to the Penguin zone.
Nedeljkovic was already out pretty high as he's looking to see if they want him at the bench, I imagine.
He keeps glancing over. No word yet from the Penguins bench as Pittsburgh plays it down to the Detroit zone. Here's Janssen. Back to the point for Ty Smith. Head move. Gets around Zarnik. Spins away from him again. Ty Smith over to Janssen. Back to Smith. He couldn't quite catch the pass, and the puck's back out the center. Minute 45 to go. Detroit with a 2-1 edge. It's Smith as Nedeljkovic gallops to the bench behind him. Extra skater on for Pittsburgh. Turnover at center. Zarnik after the loose puck. Backhands to the empty net. Blocked by Sam Poulin. Smith gets it back. So Pittsburgh with 6 skaters on. Dumps it into the Red Wing zone. Loose on the wall. Hannes can't come up with it. Detroit flutters it out the center. Bouncing puck. Hannes trying to get around Smith. He does. Picks it up on the wall. Hit there by Zahorna. They're tied up together. Collected by Puustinen. Skates his way out of his own zone and up ice. Valtteri Puustinen crosses the line for Poulin. Back to Puustinen. Bats it to the net. A bouncing puck. Sneaky and made its way in on Reimer, but he covers up.
Yeah, and just try to get organized here. Penguins have already used their timeout, so they'll have to do it on the fly. Ty Smith caught out long on that shift and scrambling back a few times. Poulin, good job blocking an empty net attempt, but you can see the players kind of getting together here, trying to coordinate possession and attack.
Larkin and Zahorna on the face-off. It's won by the Pens. That's huge. Here's Friedman. Up top, Poulin. Wrist shot save. Reimer. There was traffic in front. Harkins back to Poulin. Smacks it down low to Harkins. Hit there by Edvinsson. 44 seconds to go. It comes right side to Friedman. Gets around to Brinkett. Backhands over. A slapper there from Hinostroza was blocked. White picks it up. Poulin. Wrist shot, save, Reimer, big rebound, and James Reimer pounces forward and covers it up, and here we go.
This game's got some hot sauce on it. Everyone fighting for an inch. Great job by Zahorna, net front off that shot by Sam Poulin from the half wall. Just get it in there, and it was loose. Reimer had to sprawl to grab that puck, but it was loose out front.
Does it surprise you that there's only 46 combined shots in this game? I feel like there's been more activity than that.
I feel like this has been a heck of a game.
It's been entertaining. Leaving it all out there.
And if you're management or if you're coaches, you got to look at a lot of different things here.
Good point.
From a lot of individual players.
Face-off win there, but the puck is fumbled by Smith to center. He'll get it back. Passes for Harkins, knocked off his stick, cleared back down to the Penguin zone by Fabry. 15 seconds to go. Maybe one last rush for the Pens here as Zahorna deflects it down to the Detroit zone. Wallman picks it up, backhands up the wall, knocked down, comes free to Comfort, clears to center. Fabry deflects it back down to the Penguins end one more time, and that's icing. He hadn't crossed the red line, so 2.8 seconds. Remember, the Penguins have used their timeout. But you got to game plan quickly here for an offensive zone draw.
Now we're going to see them push everybody out front with a shooter on the back end, I'd imagine, with this amount of time. I guess there's enough time if you lose it to the wall to bump it to the middle there, Ty Smith, or just throw it at the net from the half wall. But Zohorna's been good. And draws.
That'll do it. Penguins unable to bring the score back to even on that last-ditch effort, and the Detroit Red Wings are going to take it 2-1 here in preseason action at PPG Paints Arena.
And it's too bad. It was a good effort by this Penguins team, and we get a look at Jansen Harkins, his first game as a Penguin, and improved play of Radim Zohorna coming into camp this year and what he was able to do, big on some face-offs and big body around the net. It was a good game.
There was some great aspects to this game for the Penguins, one of them being Alex Nedeljkovic, who's our #1 Cochrane Expressway player of the game.
And you don't have to look far than a few minutes ago, but he was dialed in early on this game, and mentioned through the game, Josh, poise and control and smothering rebounds, and he was busy right here on that penalty kill, coming up with some big saves. He played the puck well also, and figured it big time on this game, obviously.
One more preseason game to go after this one. It's Friday night in Buffalo. We'll have that for you, but first a reminder to stay tuned for the post-game show. Dan Potash, Mike Rupp, and Jake Caulfield have that for you. For Colby Armstrong, Haley Hunter, and our great crew, I'm Josh Getzoff. This has been Penguins Hockey on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.